Yeah, the Times has filed stories since 2019 in 160 countries. I went to Iceland. Henry Fountain went to Greenland, Switzerland, and I believe Kazakhstan to write about glaciers. So I recommend, very strongly finding out the best science and explaining it fully without giving in to the calls of people to muddy the waters. In 2014, the Times leadership realized that we still weren't doing enough. Even though it had been a consistent area of coverage, we could be doing more. And so initially within the science staff, and later as an independent group, the Times reconstituted a group of climate change reporters. Yeah, the Times has filed stories since 2019 in 160 countries. I went to Iceland. Henry Fountain went to Greenland, Switzerland, and I believe Kazakhstan to write about glaciers. I went for a story about people working in the renewable industries. I was able to go to West Texas and climb to the top of a wind tower, one of these turbines, just because it seemed to me that if I did that, I would be able to explain what it felt like to do that work. Our readers expect the journalism to tell them something, and they're willing to stick with us while we explain something complicated. But they expect us to provide enough information that they can understand what's going on. And to be at a news organization that published in 2019, for instance, some 900 articles about climate change is wonderful, both within our team and around the newsroom. To work at an organization And so, in a newsroom with fewer resources, I would just interview people and write it up, and that would be fine. Much of what I've done this year has been without traveling to tell these stories, and it's fine. Well, if you have fewer resources, first of all, it is not a resource issue to get on the phone. And if you can't get on a plane to visit with, to talk to that person at his farm, or to talk to that worker on top of the wind turbine, you can at least reach the person on the phone and have the kind of conversation that can reveal something of the person's character and experience. And you stay on the phone. You keep finding people until you find that great talker, that person who can make it clear to anyone listening. In telling a story fairly, there's no reason to provide false balance about the science. If there is I don't have to call one of those organizations when writing a story about climate change to ask to get their view that it's not happening. Or nobody expects me to do that. It is not part of my job to help someone spread lies to my audience. So I recommend, very strongly, finding out the best science and explaining it fully without giving in to calls of people to muddy the waters.